Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 300. Oh, wait. These are the wrong notes. I don't know what episode this is. Okay, I'm back. 379. Right notes this time. Buddy, I thought my notes and all the comments and everything were gone, and I was like, oh, fuck this then. Oh, man, I would have lost my mind. We're back. 379. I got my notes. And this week, I'm crossing my 90s console war enemy lines and talking some Sega Genesis with Road Rash II from Electronic Arts. If you remember a time when EA wasn't just instantly associated with greasy and gaming, your back probably hurts when you wake up in the morning. There was a time where EA Sports, it's in the game, or even just seeing the Electronic Arts like name on a box, like with Road Rash 2, didn't instantly just make you think, well, this is going to fucking suck. They were good. I know you younger listeners aren't going to believe me, but I tell you, there's a time where EA was good. I didn't play this one growing up. As most of you know, I was a Super Nintendo kid. I didn't play a lot of Genesis in my youth. I did play a pretty sizable amount of Road Rash on my friend's Panasonic 3DO. There was a kid that lived across the street from us that had a Panasonic 3DO, and I'd go over there to play Road Rash. And if the day ever comes where we're going to cover a 3DO game here on the show, it will be Road Rash. I thought it was about the coolest fucking game I'd ever seen, I tell you what. And then my friends and I used to play a lot of Road Rash 64 in high school as well. We'll probably end up doing a Remember the Game about that at some point as well. But I never played the OGs like the Genesis Road Rash until a couple weeks ago when I fired this one up on my Genesis Mini. I was looking for a Sega game to toss in the pan while I worked my way through The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. And I put this one in. I've been wanting to get to it for years, and I'm not going to bullshit you, my friends. I have put probably over 15 hours into it at this point, and I still can't get past the third set of races. There's 5 sets, and I still can't finish the third ones, but it doesn't even fucking matter. I bet you most of you that played it growing up didn't get much further than that either, so. I don't know if I've ever had this much fun playing my Sega Genesis while also wanting to break my fucking Genesis controller at the same time. Oh my God. It's going to be a good episode. I don't know if it's going to be a long episode. It's not the beefiest game, but Road Rash is fucking awesome. It deserves some love. I'm going to roll solo this week, and yeah, we're talking Road Rash. Should be a good time. And we'll get to there in just a minute, because speaking of what should be a good time, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard, and consider this your warning. Our intros are a little bit long. They're not that long. They're a little long, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff. They're a good time. And one tiny miscalculation while you're trying to skip the intro won't completely fuck you over and send you, oh, fuck, like it will in Road Rash. I was trying to come up with a better comparison. Like, one little mistake, and Road Rash is like, ha, fuck you. That's not the case when you try to skip my intros. You just take the slider, take it to about the 30-minute mark. You'll be into game talk. No fuss, no muss. That, or listen to the whole thing, because we talk video games and stuff. That's what I recommend. It's a fun time. If you'll indulge me for a minute, I need to do my plugs. It's how we keep our bills on around here. We have a Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/rememberthegame. We're going to ask you for $3 a month to get yourself started over there. But in exchange for that, we're going to give you new podcasts every week, ad-free, ready to go. We do 4 additional shows each week. They have no ads in them. Not only that, but all 378 episodes of Remember the Game are sitting over there, ad-free with timestamps as well. So you don't have to, you can skip around and go right to play one, remake one, or race one, right to the game talk, whatever the fuck he'll have you. You can also join our Discord. It's well over 1,000 members now. You can write into the podcast. You can vote on the games we cover, all that good stuff. Instant access to hundreds and hundreds of archive bonus podcasts. And I stream from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday, as often as possible for our Patreons as well. So it's pretty much the greatest deal in the history of the internet. And on top of all that, you get a shout out to get to hear me mispronounce your name like I don't think I'm going to do this week. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Randall 1, Wyatt Tobler, and It's Topher 9000. I think I got all three of those. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. Like I said, you can find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. There's some free episodes over there if you want to try it out without spending any money. Subscriptions start at $3 a month, and if you sign up for a full year at any tier, we'll give you a month on the house, because damn it, that's just good business. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our patrons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is... Fuck, my notes are fucking me around today. Archmage, who said, all right, Adam, I have a Super Nintendo question for you. Let's say you meet someone who's just been introduced to the legendary SNES, and they say to you, wow, I just finished Super Mario World, and that was amazing. What else do you recommend? What would be top 3 to follow up, preferably at least one RPG included? Okay, so they've already played Super Mario World. For an RPG, I would suggest Final Fantasy III. I know some of you are going to say Chrono Trigger. I'll hear that argument. I personally would want to play Earthbound, but I'm going to go with Final Fantasy III. I'm going to say Super Metroid, and I'm going to say Link to the Past. I know no Donkey Kong Country seems crazy, but they just played Super Mario World. So Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Final Fantasy III. That's just a tipping point. And man, what I wouldn't give to be introduced to the Super Nintendo for the first time again. Oh, buddy. Fuck, that'd be sick. My God. New games suck. Says, Mr. Blank, so I have to ask if this has ever happened to you. I ordered a PS3 game and it showed up the day I left for vacation and it got thrown in the closet and forgotten. I then bought the game again and found the package 3 years later and I had 2 copies. And the worst part is that it was a sports game, so it was worthless, or it was worth less than when I bought it to begin with. I can't say, I've bought tons of games. I think we talked about this last week. I have bought tons of games digitally more than once. I've bought a game on like Steam and then forgot about it and bought it on PSN or whatever the fuck. I can say one time where I've bought 2 copies of a physical game by mistake, and that was WCW Mayhem, and that was like in the last couple of years, not back in its prime, because that game sucks. But I collect wrestling games, and I bought a copy for like $2, not realizing I already had a copy sitting on my shelf. So now I am the proud owner of 2 copies of WCW Mayhem, which is also probably worth less now than it was when I fucking bought it. But I can't say as I've done that with like a modern game. That said, that you did it with a sports game fucking sucks. Sports games, is there anything in video games that holds their value less than a fucking sports game? Have you ever seen like a Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever ad where somebody is selling like a copy of like fucking NHL 15 or like Madden 13 and the price of it is like $20 or some shit, and you're just like, what the fuck? What? Like sports games are like new cars. Like the minute they walk out the door of the store, or the minute you download them, I guess now after the PlayStation news, the more like they're worthless. Their value just plummets. Sports game. I love sports games. I like sports games, but nothing in gaming holds its value less. The batteries you use in your Wiimote retain more value than a fucking sports game does. Rush's Dog Walker says, hello, it's 5 years ago and you're in charge at Microsoft/Xbox. Do you still buy Activision? If not, what studio/game developer would you have gone after? Fuck, that's a good question. If you could go back in time, if Microsoft could go back in time, do they cut a $70 billion check for Activision? Because clearly it hasn't turned their fucking business around. Fuck. I don't know. I don't think I do. I mean, I would still be willing to buy Activision Blizzard, but I don't think I'm willing to pay $70 billion for them. I really think when they cut that check, they thought like Call of Duty on Game Pass is going to explode, profits. And it just hasn't worked that way. So if I wasn't going to buy Activision Blizzard, what would I buy instead? You know, the company that comes to mind to me if I had Microsoft money and I was told, hey, go out there and buy one third-party publisher, and bring them exclusive to try to grow our business, I might say, keep it in mind, you're not going to be able to buy Rockstar, right? Like with GTA and stuff like that. I can't imagine you're going to be able to buy Rockstar. I would probably spend that money on Take-Two and Rockstar over Activision. I would say Capcom. You could get Capcom. It says they're worth about $8 billion. So 5 years ago, they're probably worth what? $6 billion, $6.5 billion. You're getting a lot of bangers with Capcom. That's yeah. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. That's what I'm gonna go with, Capcom. Because then you can put like, you're not gonna make Street Fighter exclusive because it needs too many players. But like, you have Monster Hunter, you got Mega Man, you got Resident Evil, you got Devil May Cry, like, yeah. And you're getting them for literally a tenth of the price you paid for fucking Activision Blizzard. I'll say Capcom, but I am also a Capcom fanboy, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. AJL, take a breath, Adam, 2019 FTW. Hey, Bladum, how do you organize your physical game library? I usually have mine separated by console in alphabetical order, but we'll put games of the same series in release order. An acquaintance of mine says everything should be in chronological order. So they have Metal Gear for the NES next to Metal Gear Solid 3 on the PS2, the two PSP games, and Metal Gear Solid 5 on the PS4. And I just think this guy is crazy due to his lack of vitamin D from the sun. Oh, your friend is fucking crazy. Listen, I sort mine, by console and then by release date. Or pardon me, by alphabetical order. Alphabetical order. You said that you'll put games of the same series in release order. So even if their names are getting flipped around, you would still put them in release order. I wouldn't do that, but I'll hear that. I don't have a problem with that. I personally like to just go alphabetical order. I think it looks nice. You go through your shelf. They're alphabetical. They're all there. You know how to find your games. It's sharp. I'm a fan of that. But the idea that your friend just takes every game from every console from one series and just puts like I guess if all you collect is Metal Gear, sure, then you put all your Metal Gear games side by side like that. But if they've just got like a random shelf of like, well, these are all my Metal Gear games, and then next up these are all of my Mega Man games, and then next up these are all of my what's another series that starts with M? How am I blanking on this? My God. Mighty Mouse games? I don't fucking know. That your friend is going crazy. You should get them out for some vitamin D and check on them because they aren't well. They are not fucking well. AJL. That's fucking crazy. Catatonic Abyss says, hey Adam, I'm considering getting a Switch 2, and I was just wondering, now that the Switch 2's been out for a while, do you feel it has a library worthy enough of upgrading from a first-gen Switch to the new one? That's the $1 million question, right? Because every single time we bring the Switch 2 up over on Game Patch, we get people that write in that are like, I fucking love my Switch 2. And we get people that write in that are like, they still haven't done enough to convince me to get off my wallet and upgrade. And I'll hear, like, I personally love my Switch 2. I don't regret upgrading. I think it's a great system. I just like the way it feels. I like the way it plays. I think it looks sharper over and above the games. So as a pretty regular routine Switch user, I feel it has been worth the money. And I enjoy if you play your Switch a lot, probably it is worth the upgrade. Because you're also getting like, you can get the upgraded versions of so many Switch 1 games. And like, I know Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, apparently it's fucking night and day on Switch 2. You get the updated Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, you get Mario Party, all that kind of stuff. If you're like, I like my Switch, fine enough, but I need exclusives to buy a Switch 2. Then you got to ask yourself, because I looked it up, and like basically for Switch 2 exclusives right now, you got Mario Kart World, which is, some like it more than others. I thought it was okay, but I don't play it anymore. Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is pretty good. Pokemon Pokepias, some people fucking love. Kirby Air Riders, Mario Tennis, the new Star Fox, the new Yoshi. Later this year, you're getting Fire Emblem, and you're getting Legend of Zelda Ocarina. I think Ocarina of Time Remake is going to sell a lot of Switch 2s, assuming it's good. And I've been saying, like, for months now, I'm not the world's biggest Ocarina of Time fan, but of course I'm going to play the remake. And like, call me crazy, I just don't see Nintendo rolling the dice on remaking arguably the most beloved game of all time and fucking it up. I think it'll be good. I think the Ocarina of Time remake will be good. So it comes down to like, are those, and then you have GameCube games online. Not a huge library, but GameCube games online. So like, as a Nintendo fan and as someone that plays their Switch a lot, yeah, I upgraded. I have no qualms. Plus, you get a lot more third-party games, right, too. You're getting like Resident Evil, Cyberpunk, so on. Elden Ring's in me there right away. Lots of third-party games as well. If it's the only system you've got, Catatonic Abyss, like if all you have is a Switch and you're like, is it time to go to the Switch 2? Yes. If you've already got a PS5 or a Series X or a PC that's worth a damn, and that's where you play your third-party games, then it comes down to how many of those games I just listed are worth the money to you. I'm not gonna bullshit you. It's not like you're getting 40 games on the Switch 2 you can't play anywhere else. You're getting, I don't know, like of games that are notable, you're probably getting 10 games that you can't play anywhere else. I think it's good, but that I say yes, but I know people will argue with me and say no. I say it is. I quite like my Switch 2. Shadow Breaks In says, hello, Adam. I'm super excited for Persona 4 Revival coming out in February, and I was wondering if you've ever played a Persona game. Persona 4 Golden is my favorite game of all time, and I highly recommend it. That's the only one I have played, is Persona 4 Golden, Shadow. And I do think it's very good. I played it on my Vita. I think it's very good. Probably never going to get an RTG, because I probably put 40 or 50 hours in and then found out I was like halfway through the game and was like, it's very good, but I was like, no. I'm not playing. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing another 40 hours of this fucking game. Mark McHugh, pending Hall of Famer, loves Persona. And he has always told me if I want to do a Persona game on the show, he is in there. I'm like, dude, I don't foresee myself ever finding the fucking necessary hours. If they ever release a Persona that's like 20 or 30 hours long, you son of a bitch, I'm in. But these 80-hour games, I can't. There's that's 2 months worth of shows. Can't do it. But I do like Persona 4 Golden quite a bit. Freshman 15 Davey says, howdy, Andy. I'm looking forward to your eventual episode of BioShock Infinite in the future. I know you have a no DLC rule, but did you play the Infinite DLC when you played it back in the day? It was pretty divisive, but I think it was pretty sick and wraps up the entire trilogy in a nice little package. Shout out to Get Said reference. Thanks for the hours and hours of content. I didn't play the DLC when it came out. Who wrote this in? Freshman 15 Davey. I played BioShock Infinite literally that was a game. Fuck, if that game released on a Tuesday, by Friday I was done. I could not wait to play that fucking game. And I've never played it since, including anything they would have dropped afterwards. So I'm not going to sit here and say no, I'm not playing the DLC, or yes, I am. But I know when I did the BioShock 2 episode, a lot of people wanted me to play the DLC. They're like, it's 5 hours long or whatever. And I was like, bro, I need to finish a game every 6 days. I do not have an extra 5 hours to spend on this. Now that I'm kind of taking RPG in a more casual, hey, when it's done, it's done. If it takes me 2 weeks, it takes me 2 weeks way. I'm a little bit more open to playing DLC on some of these old games now. Not all of them. I don't want everyone to think I'm just suddenly going to play all the DLC of every game ever made. But now that I'm giving myself a little bit more flexibility in the time of the episodes and stuff, I'm a little bit more interested in diving into some DLC. For example, I'm playing South Park: The Fractured Butthole right now on my Patreon streams, which I haven't played since it came out all those years ago as well. And I decided to pull the trigger and buy the season pass. And I'm going to play through the DLC and stuff as well, which I've never played before. And then I'll probably do one big review, including all of it. So moving forward, if it's a game that I'm really getting into and it's not an extra 50 hours of content, I am a little bit more willing than I have been in the past to take on some DLC and just say, hey, the episode's going to be a little bit longer. Life sucks. I think, because I do like BioShock. So I might. And a BioShock Infinite episode is not an if, it's a when. It will happen, I promise. I don't know when, but I promise you all it is going to happen, 100%. And before we move on, finally, it's letter time. Cthulhu says, morning, Blank. Through Expansion Pass, you've been able to put out a good deal of modern game reviews. Have you thought about reaching out to publishers for review codes? Might save you a few Looney Tunes or whatever it is you have up there in Canada land. I've never heard our money called Looney Tunes, but I like, because our dollar is called the Looney. For those that don't know Canada, we have a gold dollar coin that's called the Looney and a $2 coin called the Toonie. I remember when the Toonie came out. The Looney predates me. It came out when I was a little kid. I've seen the $1 bill, but not really. But the Toonie, I remember. That was a fucking big deal when we started eliminating those brown $2 bills. It's, I don't know what I prefer. Because, I was just in the U.S. in Boston, and I like having the wad of cash in my pocket with the, big bills on top, the ones. I kind of like that, but I also like just having I don't really carry cash anymore, but it's nice to just have the change in your pocket, too. Our smallest bill in Canada now is a 5. I don't know. Anyways, I have reached out. I shouldn't say never. I have reached out to publishers once in a while, years ago, for codes. I got a couple. Now I get offered codes pretty regularly. I've been offered some pretty big codes now. I don't know how it works. I assume that they just use me as like, hey, he's in the top 20, 30, whatever the fuck, gaming podcasts. We're usually in the top 24 in Canada and the US. So I imagine that's why I get offered game codes, because they see us there, so they reach out. There's also a website, Keymailer, and you can sign up there if you're a creator to try to get codes. I think what codes you get offered depends on the size of you. I'm signed up there, but I never use it. And the reason I don't take the free codes, I'm not going to pretend I'm like holier than thou, and I'm like, I'm a gamer like all of you. I buy my games so I get the organic experience, because I'm not going to bullshit you. I'll take a free game. But the problem is, if you take a free code, a lot of the time, and despite what people say, I'm not going to sit here and say that a game studio has never paid for a good review. I don't know if they ever have it. I can say in the very limited experience I have with getting free game codes, I have never once been told I have to give a game a good review. I've been told, the thing I get told is there's usually like an embargo date where you can't say anything until then, and then they want a review within X time of the release of the game. And that is why I very rarely take codes. Like, I got offered a code for Bond. I got offered a code for WWE 2K26. Like, there's been some games that I've bought that I've played, and I'd love to save the $80 or whatever and buy the game and get the free code. But my schedule, my gaming schedule is so packed as is that I'm like, if I accept a code for, say, Bond, 007 First Light, everything else I'm working on for Remember the Game, other modern reviews, everything else has to get dropped so I can rush through this game. And then they usually want like a video review, and I don't do a lot of video reviews. It is something I'm interested in getting into, but I don't know when I'll ever get around to it. So that's the number one reason I don't take game codes. It's nothing to do with them saying I got to be nice. It's not that I'm like an elitist who says he has to pay for his games. I get to write my games off, so that's a nice perk. I still have to pay for them up front, though. But I don't want to be beholden to them to get a review published by a certain date. I go at my own pace. When a game's done, I review it. So that's the number one reason. But good question. I don't know if I've ever been asked that. Not often, anyways. So, all right, we got to keep the ball rolling here. Oh yeah, and whenever I am given a game, I think the last game what was the name of the last game I was given? I can't remember what it's called now. It was like a little indie Switch game, and I did a review of it. It doesn't matter. It's not a game a lot of you would know. It was like a little platform. It was a neat little game. I did a review for it like fucking 5 years ago. I'm trying to see on my YouTube channel now. YouTube studio, movie ass, internet, fucking slow, and I'm trying to fill dead air. Oh, speaking of YouTube, I don't plug this often, but if you go to youtube.com/rememberthegame, you can listen to the show. I have lots of Let's Plays over there. And I should have my memberships up soon. I haven't quite figured out the pricing model yet and stuff. Basically, what I'm going to offer is if you're a YouTube member, not a free subscriber, but like pay for a YouTube membership, you'll be able to watch my Patreon streams, my gameplay streams, and the recordings of Game Patch, Rambling Idiot, and Expansion Pass, but not live. It's going to be cheaper than it would cost to watch them live on Patreon, and it won't come with access to the Discord and stuff. So, like, I do think Patreon will still be your better offer, but I've had people say, like, yo, I don't want to use Patreon. Is there anything you can do on YouTube? I can't offer YouTube member streams and offer them to my Patreons, and my priority are the people that have been, signing up on Patreon because a lot of them have year subs and stuff, and I don't want to cost them content. But if you're like, I don't really want to deal with Patreon, I don't want to watch the live streams, I should have them up here in the next week. If you're interested, you can go over there, sign up. You'll get access to a bunch of like gameplay streams and stuff like that. You'll see it. It'll be up there. I'll make sure I post about it on social media and stuff when it's up there. Why am I even rambling? Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Cause I wanted to see what that name of that game was. Evergate. And that was September 3rd, 2020. So that's the last time I accepted a free game code, I think 6 years ago. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, and I've made 89 cents in ad revenue on that fucking video. So ching. Okay. We got to keep the ball rolling. Holy shit. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks so much for writing in, everybody. I appreciate it. Let's switch the up and get to our Smashes segment, the official game show. Remember the Game Industries. Play one, remake one, erase one. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our patrons three there we go, retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one, and we'll get to that in just a minute. This week we're talking Road Rash 2, so I went with 3 EA Genesis games. You got Jungle Strike, General Chaos, and Mutant League Hockey. And 32% of you said you'd play Jungle Strike, remake Mutant League Hockey, and erase General Chaos. Let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Topher Love says play Mutant League Hockey because it was great the way it was, Nostalgia City. Remake Jungle Strike because I love all these games, and a modern retro take on one of these would be awesome. Delete General Chaos because fuck that guy. And I read that purely on the fuck that guy, like I like that logic. It's not the game, it's the idea that fuck General Chaos. That guy as a whole is a dick. I respect that. Piss Out My Ass said play General Chaos because that's some killer box art. That's a game I'm renting for the weekend. Remake Mutant League Hockey because I want a modernized arcadey hockey game and mutants are undeniably cool. Erase Jungle Strike because that's not cool, man. I like jungles. Think of the Jaguars. That is logical all the way. For someone with the name Piss Out My Ass, it's a pretty fucking logical take. I respect that. The Big Deal says this hurts probably more than any PRE1 you've done. I'll play Mutant League Hockey since it's perfect as it is. I'll remake General Chaos and just modernize it and expand it with more combatant types. Plus, it may end up easier to navigate using modern controllers with more buttons, which I agree with. That was why initially I was going to do General Chaos this week, and I tried it and was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, and I just got too frustrated with it. Modern controls would really help that game. And then finally, I'll erase Jungle Strike with Desert and Urban Strike to fall back on. And that's, if you got more, I get it. You're rolling the dice that Jungle Strike erases anything else that can't. I don't know the order they came out in, but I get it. Dale Cope said this is an easy one. Play Jungle Strike because I enjoy the series and haven't played it yet. Remake Mutant League Hockey because they've already remade Mutant League Football and the hockey version needs some love and attention. We can get rid of General Chaos, or of Chaos General, because I think we have better multiplayer chaotic games out now to enjoy, which is probably true, frankly. And MF Blast Processing says, play General Chaos because it's already a rad game I can't get enough of. Remake Mutant League Hockey to get back to the more wacky days of sports games. Sorry, Jungle Strike, you can fuck right off. Because there's no blast processing in Jungle Strike. I'm going with 13%. I'm in the short straw this week. 13% of you voted the way I did, as did Hate This 101. Who said, I'll play Mutant League Hockey. I was a huge fan of the football game. Gotta imagine hockey's just as good. I'll remake General Chaos. Honestly, I have no idea what this is, but the cover art is cool, so remastered to current gen systems. Erase Jungle Strike. I believe I've played this before, but I can't remember, so screw it. Very deep logic. I'm going to play Mutant League Hockey myself because I haven't, and of course I have to. I love Mutant League Football. I gotta play Mutant League Hockey. And then I was torn, but I'm going to remake General Chaos. I tried it. Like I said, I was very confused. I couldn't figure it out. I'll remake it to be a straight tactical game. I want it to be like Wargroove or something. That's how I would remake General Chaos. And then I think I'd be all, I like the concept, couldn't figure out the execution. So I'm going to make it into something my simple brain can understand. And then I'm going to erase Jungle Strike. Apparently these games are fantastic, but it's just the one that interests me the least. That's literally all. One of them's them's the rules, as some of you say. Them's the rules. Jungle Strikes. Gotta go. I am interested in doing those, though. David Ray has been on me to do those. I will do those at some point, the strike games. So thank you, everybody that wrote in and played along, as always. What have I been up to over the last week? And then we're getting into Road Rash 2. I've been playing Road Rash 2. I'm about to tell you all about it. Very, very fun game. I'm playing The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. When I'm not looking for spirit seeds, these electronic ghost bugs to open up areas, I really like everything else about it. I really want to get that episode done soon, guys. It's a long fucking game. And I'm trying not to use walkthroughs or anything and just play it organically. That's what this whole schedule is for. If I was on the schedule to get it done in 6 days, I know I'd be getting madder at it. So when I'm done it'll have an episode. It will happen in July. The Twilight Princess episode will happen in July. Lock it in. And then I've been playing 007 First Light, which I'll probably be reviewing on Expansion Pass next week. Started out not loving it, but the love is growing. Love is fucking growing, boy. It's stealth, but it's not boring stealth. And that's the type of stealth I fucking like. That's really... And then a little bit of Mega Man 5, just to get ready for an upcoming episode of RTG. So, and that's it. That's it. All right. And then, yeah, I've been playing South Park Stick of Truth, or pardon me, Fractured Butthole on my Patreon streams for an eventual episode of the show. But that's been very, very casual. So, okay, here's what's going to happen. We're going to pause here. I'm going to play a retro game ad. We'll let a sponsor in to peddle their wares. And when we get back, it's Road Rash 2. Remember, the game will return after these messages.
Row your boat gently down the stream. Get out of the way. Road Rash 64 just hit the streets with more angry bikers and more punishing weapons than ever before. Road Rash 64 only on N64.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. We talk about mental health more openly now, but asking for help can still feel hard, and research confirms that. BetterHelp's 2026 State of Stigma report surveyed 2,000 Americans and revealed that 85% of Americans believe getting support is wise, yet 74% say society discourages people from doing so. We've all said to someone, hey, if you need to talk to somebody, do it. I say it all the time. But how often do we actually encourage the people we care about to look into therapy? Talking to a friend over coffee is great, no question. But I didn't realize just how impactful a therapist could be until I finally talked to one myself. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform with over 30,000 therapists on their team, all fully licensed in the United States. You just fill out a brief questionnaire letting them know what's on your mind, and BetterHelp will match you with a therapist that best suits your needs. And if it's not a fit, you can switch therapists anytime. Don't let stigma stand in the way of support. Start therapy with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. Talk some Road Rash 2. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off before I start hogging the microphone and blabbing as I am known to do. So let's see what some of you had to say here. AB Killen says we never owned this game, but we played it at my cousin's house all the time. We had a notebook with our passwords, and it was a lot of teamwork. This game makes me realize a social phenomenon of retro gaming. This isn't my favorite on my favorite games list, but some of my best gaming memories were playing Road Rash in Cousin Jake's basement for a weekend. I felt that too. Like playing this for the first time, even I'm like, this is retro. Like it just. I don't know how to explain it. Some retro games just hit different. Like I feel like I'm 15 or younger. I have like 12-year-old knees when I'm playing this game. Like I'm young again, and it's just fun, and nothing else matters except yelling at this fucking rate. I get it. I get what I don't know if I'm probably not explaining this right, but I get what you're trying to say. I sound like a stoned old gamer. Speaking of which, Stoned Old Gamer wrote in and said, so many memories of this franchise as a whole. The ragdoll physics of the riders when they crashed never got old. Either clubbing someone, hitting them in the face with a chain, or kicking them into traffic, all while trying to win the race. What's not to love about it? Looking forward to listening to your take on this. I will be breaking out the emulator to play before the show. The crashes do never get old. Dude, I have a story. I'll save it for the episode. Fuck, do I have a story about crashing? It happened on stream the other day. Oh my God. Fucking made me. It was like one of my favorite gaming moments ever on a stream. Holy fuck, I popped. Normal Normie says, seeing that box art takes me back to a time when it seemed half my collection had Electronic Arts on them. Those were the days. Back when I was still standing up to bullies in junior high, this game provided me a safer outlet to vent my frustrations, since I would get in some serious trouble whenever things came to blows. Suffice it to say, I spent hundreds of hours locked up in my room, stealing chains and cattle prods from rival bikers and giving the other students in my school their own counterparts in game to unleash my fury upon. I'm in for a walk, or should I say ride down memory lane in this episode. Give 'em hell, brother. I've never made somebody in a game I hate. I can respect that you don't like somebody enough that you make them an enemy in the game. I don't think I've ever done that, but I can respect that. I used to make this guy I didn't like in junior high into Kate Sith whenever I play Final Fantasy VII. But that's just because I fucking hate Kate Sith. Who doesn't hate Kate Sith? Me fail English, that's impossible. Says, I love the Road Rash games so much. They're such a great time and also very difficult. I suck at racing games, but this one was always special. Spot on. I hate racing games, but I love this game. Dale Cope says, Road Rash 2 holds a special place in my heart. Without a doubt, it's my favorite racing game on the Genesis. My friends and I would play it regularly. Someone would rent it from our local video store, and we'd spend countless hours playing it over the weekends. Road Rash 3 was great, but 2 holds up as the best in the series. The huge jump you can get on the Hawaii course is one of the most enjoyable parts. It was also awesome with couch co-op. Obviously, I didn't play couch co-op because I have no friends. I think this game with a friend, Josh and I, if I had played this as a kid with my brother, it would have gotten ugly. It would have gotten we were ugly. It would have gotten fucking brutal. I'm curious how it ran in 2-player. I'm going to have to look that up because it chugs sometimes and there's a lot of bikers on in 1-player even. And Game Genie Us. I don't know if it's us or US. I'm going to go Game Genius. Oh, like you're a genius. Fuck me. Says, oh boy, I absolutely love this game back in the day. My favorite part was when the bike cop comes by and I'd steal his baton or billy club. My brother and I would spend hours on each course to go into first. Memories of a simpler area when time had no meaning, just the love of the game in front of you. Dude, I streamed this the other day and like 2 hours went by like that. because you just lose yourself in one more race. That's what retro gaming is all about, friends. Fuck, I love this game. I'm ready to talk about this game. I'm going alone this week. I don't know how long a review this is going to be. It's not the meatiest bone in the chicken wing basket, but I love Road Rash 2, and it's time to talk about. This is probably my top 5 Genesis games now. I'm ready to talk about this one. I'll cue up some Road Rash music, and when it stops, I'll take you back to December of 1992 and talk Road Rash 2 for the Sega Genesis and the vastly inferiorly named Sega Mega Drive. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Here we go. All right, I've been trying to get this done for like 3 fucking days. Let's do this. Let's talk some Road Rash. Like I said during the intro, my introduction to the series was on the Panasonic 3DO. I can't even name another Panasonic 3DO game, but I remember Road Rash back in 1994, and I have to say, friends, about the coolest fucking video game I had ever seen up to that point. Now, keep in mind, I was a Super Nintendo kid, and my racing experience basically before Road Rash was RC Pro-Am on the NES and F-Zero and Super Mario Kart on the SNES. So I had no idea this fucking franchise existed where you raced around on motorcycles, beat the shit out of the other racers with weapons, ran away from the cops. This was like GTA before GTA. And I feel like even if you didn't play Road Rash back in the 90s, you knew of it. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those franchises that everybody talked about. It's like when Grand Theft Auto first started and it was the top-down. I've never played the OG top-down GTAs, but I remember just everybody at school talking about them and what a big thing they were. For like in the 90s, the playground was Reddit. Like, that was our Reddit. Everybody, there was a lot nicer, but it was a lot of like, everybody just talked about the big games that you hadn't heard about. The quote-unquote viral games of the 90s were the ones everybody talked about on the playground. And Road Rash was just one of those series that I feel like everybody knew about because it seemed so cool. If by chance you didn't grow up in the 90s and you've never played Road Rash and you don't know what it is, and I'd like to sit here and say that's not a thing, and everybody listening at least knows what Road Rash is, but every time I throw a blanket statement out there, somebody doesn't, or isn't, or hasn't, or wouldn't. So I'll explain. If you've never played Road Rash, like I said, basic concept, they're motorcycle racing games. You're racing like through city streets. It's not like you're on fucking motocross tracks or whatever. And you can punch and kick and slap your opponents, and you can use weapons. In this one, you can only use chains and clubs, batons. It's called a baton, son. What's it for? We club people with it like a nightstick. That's basically the 2 weapons you get in this game. And then you can kick, you can punch, and you can do like the most disrespectful backhand bitch slap of all time that I think is awesome. You do that to the other racers to knock them off their bikes. They can also do it to you to knock you off your bike. I believe in future games you can get like a cattle prod. I can't remember what other weapons there were, but in this one on the Genesis, Road Rash 2, it was just the chain and the club, or else your fists and your feet, and you just race to the finish line. And at least in this one, if you can finish in the top 3, then you in air quotes win. I'll explain how that works in a minute. But wherever you finish, you earn money. You can use that money to add on top of your trade-in value of whatever bike you're riding right now to upgrade to better bikes that go faster. Some of them get turbo. As you work your way through the game, the races get longer, the races get harder. It's so simple in its concept, but it's so fucking beautiful in its execution. And then in addition to that, you can't other racers can knock you off your bike, but also you can crash, which is how you will most of the time get knocked off of your fucking bike. You can hit signs, you can hit trees, you can hit animals, you can hit stuff laying in the road, you can hit cars. The cops are around. You have to dodge police cars, plus sometimes police on motorcycles will try to chase you down, and if you crash near them, they'll bust you, and then the race is over and you have to pay your fine and fucking start over again. And that's basically the game in a nutshell. And it is so much fun. We played the shit out of it on the Panasonic 3DO back in the day, like I said. My friends and I used to rent the Nintendo 64 one quite a bit back in high school as well. I don't remember a ton about the Nintendo 64 one. For those of you getting ready to mock me, I fucking graduated 25 years ago. It's been a long time, so shut up. But I do want to do an episode about Road Rash 64 at least at some point. I don't know how many other Road Rash episodes we'll do, but I want to do at least Road Rash 64 at some point. But I had never played the Genesis one, and I always knew about it. I always knew that it was like a thing, and one of the criticisms of RTG is that it's too much Nintendo. It's too Nintendo based, which I don't know if I fully agree with the criticism, but at the same time, I'm not going to argue it because you're all right. There's a lot of Nintendo because Nintendo was my childhood. That's what I grew up with. And I was always jealous of Sega Genesis owners. So I was saying on my stream the other day, I was always jealous of Sega Genesis owners just because they had access to games that I didn't have. And specifically growing up, it was Sonic, it was Echo the Dolphin. I know, but there was a time where I didn't hate Echo the Dolphin. It was Mutant League Hockey that I still have never played, but I would always hear about. And I wanted to play Road Rash. Those were like some of the Sega games that I was always jealous of the Sega kids for not having. But I don't know if anybody else thought this back in the day if you were a Super Nintendo kid. And I mean no offense. I know now that this isn't the case. I was just saying on stream the other day, for some reason, I had it in my mind when I was a kid, when all I had for my video game information was the odd gaming magazine, what kids said at the playground, or like Video and Arcade Top 10 here in Canada. I always thought that like the Genesis was like the budget system. I don't know why. This is just a sidebar now. When I'm doing these episodes by myself, you get a little bit more of my rambling. I always thought the Genesis was like, oh, they just couldn't afford a Super Nintendo, so they got a Genesis. I'm not throwing shade. I know it's console wars, but that's just that's what I thought it was. But they had games that I wanted to play. And obviously over the years that Remember the Game, I've played many, many Genesis games. I have grown I've also liked to express my fondness for that particular console. There's so many Gunstar Heroes, Shining Force, Shinobi, Toe Jam and Earl, Mutant League Football, X-Men, Streets of Rage. Like the list goes on and on. And then Sonic. Like I'm not the biggest Sonic fan, but like I can't deny the Genesis games are pretty good. Sonic 2 in particular is the fucking tits. I've grown to discover and like so many Genesis games, and now that I've played Road Rash 2, absolutely on the list as well. I did an expansion pass podcast over on Patreon, I think last year sometime. It was either last year or earlier this year, where I did like my initial top 10 Sega Genesis games. And I was like, this list is a work in progress because as I discover more Sega games, I'll be updating my list. And I don't know if Road Rash 2 cracks my top 3 or 5. Like, I don't know if I can get it ahead of Gunstar Heroes, Streets of Rage 2, Toe Jam and Earl. Like, those are some of my favorite Sega Genesis games. But I'm fair. X-Men 2. Fuck, I love that game. I can't believe we never did an episode on X-Men 2. I played the shit out of that game on my Genesis. I beat that fucking game. I was so proud of myself. And then I don't think we ever did an episode. Fucking idiot. I gotta get caught up on that one so I can do an episode. So I don't know where Road Rash 2 would fit in on my favorite Sega Genesis games lists, but I'm fairly confident it cracks the top 10 because, buddy, I had so much fun playing this game when I wasn't yelling at it because it's very tough, very tough. I never beat it. Never fucking beat it. I'll tell you how far I got. I had so much fun playing this game. And, like, I know this is going to sound stupid, but like this was retro gaming, you know, like I know I play tons of retro games for the show, but sometimes a retro game just lands where the gameplay loop is so simple. It's so easy to learn. It's so addictive. The graphics, I was playing this on my Sega Genesis Mini, which it came on, I believe, which is a big get for the Genesis Mini if it was on there. And it just felt so right playing it with the Genesis controller. And it just, like, I was sitting up here so many nights playing this game, and I'd intend to play like 2 or 3 races, and then before I know it, an hour. I streamed it on Twitch, and like an hour and a half like that just flew by. It's so addictive, and it's just, and you always do the same thing. Like, there's fucking 5 levels. The racetracks themselves change, but there's 5 locations. There's 5 levels. It's Hawaii, Arizona, Tennessee, Alaska, and Vermont. And that's all you do. You have to finish in the top 3 of all 5 of those races. And once you do, you move up to level 2, which is the same 5 courses, but longer and with more obstacles and tougher AI. Then you got to get top 3 again. Then you move up to level 3. Same thing. Level 4, same thing. I believe it goes to level 5. I'm on level 3, and I think I've beaten 2 of the 5 tracks on level 3. And fuck, it is so difficult. I can't beat anymore. And so it's obviously like super basic. There's no like bonus levels. There's not, other than that, you're just like, however you finish, you earn money. You spend that money to buy faster bikes. You're not even buying like specific parts for your bikes. Like you're not buying like specific brakes and shocks and stuff. It's just buy a new bike, keep racing so you have enough money to buy a better bike, keep racing, rinse and repeat. But like, that's one of the beautiful things about retro gaming. You know, like I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077 right now. Fucking love that game, but that game is deep as fuck. Like there's so many customization options and so many side missions and so many things that you can do. It's crazy. I'm playing The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess right now for an upcoming episode of the show. I'm enjoying most of it. Not all of it, but most of it. But it's like this big world that you're traveling around and exploring, and it's just, there's something. I like playing those types of games. I'm playing 007 First Light, which obviously there's tons of depth to it. Those games are great, but there's something about just picking up a game from the 90s or the 80s that you hadn't really played before, and it just clicks, and you know, as soon as you sit down, I don't have to worry about learning any new mechanics. I don't have to go through any tutorials. I don't have to watch a bunch of cutscenes. There are cutscenes that are funny. We'll talk about that. But like, I just pick the controller up, and all I have to do is race 14 or 15 other bikers, rinse and repeat. It's like it's fucking beautiful. It's like the epitome of what I love about retro gaming. It's beautiful in its simplicity. I had so much fun playing it. Like I said, all you have to do is finish in the top 3 of each of the 5 courses. If you finish outside of the top 3, but you still make it across the finish line, so you don't get caught by the police or run out of health or write your bike off by crashing it too much and running out of, both you have your health, like your racer has a health bar and your bike has a health bar. And as long as neither of your health bars runs out, or you don't get caught by the police by crashing near them or in front of them, you're going to finish the race. And if you finish in the top 3, you win a majority of the prize money, and you get that course checked off as clear, and you have to do it on all 5 courses to move up to the next stage. If you finish anywhere else, you'll still get like a little bit of prize money, and you can just play the race again. And I really like that this game, it doesn't really have any lives, or anything like you know, like F-Zero. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I haven't played another. I don't think I've played another racing game on the Sega Genesis, so I don't think I can compare it to any there. But like F-Zero, you know, if you lose too many times, it's game over. Super Mario Kart, if you fall out of the top 4 too many times, it's game over. This one, the only way, I only got 1 game over. Admittedly, I save stated like a motherfucker between races because it does have a password system, which is great, but it's one of the beautiful things about save states is you don't have to write down and remember your passwords anymore. I only actually game overed once, and what it was I rode off my bike, and I had already spent all my money on this brand new bike, so I only had like $400 in cash, and then they were like, you don't have enough money to buy a new bike, game over. And they literally would have been going back to level 1 if I didn't write down my passwords. I would have lost my fucking mind. But I like that you don't have lives where if you lose, like if you finish outside of the top 10 too many times, it's game over or anything. It's like, dude, as long as you have enough money to either pay your bail if you get caught, or to buy a new bike or fix your bike or whatever the fuck, if you write your bike off, you literally can play it forever, like over and over and over again. And it's a great design, A, because lives in racing games are fucking annoying, and B, because like this game will bend you over a barrel. This is a fucking hard game. I'm not particularly good at racing games, but anyone that was watching my streams when I was playing it over there, like, I'm not terrible at this game. I'm getting pretty good because the racing is really solid, actually, and I'm getting pretty decent, but it's just so fucking brutal. Level 1, not that bad. It's going to take you a little bit of practice. Like, when I first started playing it, I couldn't get into the top 3 of a race to save my fucking life, but then I started to get a feel for it, and now, like, if you were to ask me to sit down and play the first stage of Road Rash, like play those first level 1, the 5 races, I'm probably going to beat all 5 of those races in 6 or 7 tries chops. Like, they're really not that hard. hard. But then you go up to level 2, and not only do the races extend by like 2 miles, but and maybe this is just like a mental thing for me, but I don't think it is. There's like more obstacles on the road, fucking animals, fucking bears and deers and cows, fucking everywhere. And plus more cars coming at you, more cars going that way. The other racers seem better. Plus you kind of have to, you don't have a choice. You're going to have to upgrade your bike as you get into those higher levels. And as you upgrade your bike, you just get going so fast. And so it's one thing that the racers are more vicious and more aggressive with their attacking, and they seeming like the AI is better and they play better, but it's just everything about them in level 2. It took me over a week. I would have liked to have published this episode a few days ago. It took me over a week to finally beat the 5 stage 2 racetracks. Like, they are fucking insane. So then we got to stage 3, which is where I am now. And it's even more than it was in stage 2. And I can't fucking beat them. I have a pretty good fucking bike. I have a turbo bike. So like, I'll explain that in a second too. But like, I cannot get into the top 3 of all these fucking races. And it's very rare that I get to the end of the race now. Like in stage 2, I was constantly getting to the end. I was surviving. I wasn't running out of health. I wasn't riding my bike off. I was getting to the end of the race, but I was finishing like 6th or 7th, which would win me, $300 or $400, very, very, very slowly saving up to buy a better bike, not getting into the top 3s that I need to move up to the next stage, which I actually, just thinking about it now, as I'm rambling on like a dumbass, it's actually kind of a clever design, because I almost feel like it's the game's way of being like, you need to finish in the top 3 in all 5 races to go to the next level. If you finish in the top 3 of all 5 races, you'll probably have enough money to buy at least somewhat of an upgrade on your bike. But I think the game is kind of telling you like, hey, if you can't win on stage 2 without having to buy like a super good bike, stage 3 is going to feed you your fucking ass. And so it's almost like a way of like skill checking you. Like I could constantly get 6th or 7th, and then all of a sudden it clicked and I started to get really good on this bike, and then I earned enough money to buy a better bike, and then I used that to finish off stage 2. And it almost like, it's not a level cap, but it's almost like its way of just keeping you in check and just being like, trust me, buddy. It's like the game is telling you like, buddy, you're not fucking ready for the level 3 races. You wait. You come back when you can win one of these, then maybe we'll let you go into level 3. And it's actually pretty well. I can't even fathom what the final 5 stages must be like. Part of me wants to stick with this game and try to like strong arm my way through it and finally beat it. Partially just because it's really fun. Like I want to keep playing it. But the other part of me is like, I have no story I need to see the finish of here. I got a million other games I can play. All I'm going to do is see longer races. But like, it's just so much fun to play. Oh yeah, and getting back to my point here, I was constantly finishing like 6th or 7th. I could not get into that top 3 because you fucking crash into everything. And buddy, the number of times that I am in the final mile, the final half mile of a race, and I'm in the top 3, or maybe I'm in like 4th or 5th, but I can see at least up to 2nd, like right in front of me. And if you've played a Road Rash game, at least this Road Rash game, you know what I'm talking about. Like your ass gets like snare drum tight because you're fucking that Genesis controller is just squeezing your fucking hand. And I'm like, one mistake, and I'm fucked. And it just felt like every goddamn time I would get fucked over by like one blind corner, one bad turn, one cop car sitting there, one car that just all of a sudden because there's always a 2-lane highway. You're always on like you have the right side for you Brits. We drive on the right side of the road. So you can either drive on the right side of the road where the other cars are going to be going with you, but you need to go around them because they're slower than you. But every time you go into the other lane, the left lane, the passing lane, you run the chance of another car coming at you. And sometimes it's very easy. Like sometimes you can see a long ways away. Like this is not the best looking Sega Genesis game. I've always said one of the things I admire most about the Sega Genesis is how gorgeous some of the games are. Sonic, Echo the Dolphin, Street Fighter, Rystar. You all know the good-looking Sega Genesis games. This one, a little bit archaic. Like it's pretty blocky. The frame rate is... if they tried to release a game like this today, I think the internet would fucking riot. Like the frame rate feels like it's about three frames per fucking second. But it works. Because it's so you like see a car coming at you, and the car's coming at you like 30 frames per second, super smooth. It's almost like the game is constantly loading like 2 feet in front, 2 feet in front, 2 feet in front. And it does get a little bit slower when there's a lot of racers on the track compared to when like it's just you and you're kind of pulling away or trying to catch up. But you'll see a car in the distance coming at you. All you'll see is like the front of the car, the headlights. And then the game is constantly making you go down hills and up hills. And considering how basic the graphics are, they do a really good job of like, you'll be coming up a hill and you can tell that you're coming up a hill, and maybe there's a car in the right-hand lane in front of you going slow, so you need to pass it. And now your choice becomes like, do I go into the dirt on the right side of the road where it's going to slow me down, and if there's a big sharp turn, there's a better chance of me laying my bike down? Or do I roll the dice of going into the passing lane, the left-hand lane, where a car could be coming over that hill right at you? And it really gets intense where you'll see a car a pretty fair distance away, and then you'll go into a hill where you can't tell how close that car is now. And then you kind of have to weigh your fucking options on whether or not you want to roll the dice of going into that lane or not. And it's not just cars. Like I said, animals will be fucking laying on the side of the road or whatever the fuck. And you'll hit and it just, the point I was trying to make like 4 minutes ago before I started rambling like a dipshit here is, it just felt like once I got to stage 2, it was constantly in that last 3/4 of a mile, they would find a way to throw either a blind corner in or a fucking steep hill in or something like that, and you will hit something and crash. And the crashes are some of the funniest things about the game, because you will go flying, buddy. Sometimes you will just go flying, and then your racer will, and it's so, when you're not playing, it's very, very funny to watch these bikers just fly through the air, and then eventually they'll land, and then they get up and have to run back to their bike. And the other computer racers do the same thing. But when you are playing and you've been in a race for 5 or 6 minutes and your fucking hands are sweaty and mom's spaghetti and you've been just giving her trying to get into that top 3, and you were right on the top 3's ass, and then one bad turn came out and you just went flying about fucking 200 meters up the road, and then you have to get up and watch your fucking rider run back to his bike, and as you're running back, it's like, now you're in 5th, now you're in 6th, now you're in 7th, now you're in 8th. It is so frustrating, and I can't be convinced it's not on purposely fucking cheap in that last mile or two just to make things so much harder for you. And now that I'm into stage 3, I'm finding that it's not just the last mile where it really starts to throw shit at you. It's like the entire race. And that's what I mean. Like, I can't even imagine season 5 or level 5. I had so many races on level 3 where I would have to like reload my save state because either I was hurt, like I was beat up, or my bike was fucking written off, and I wasn't even 2 miles into like a 10-mile race. Like, it just got insane. But it's just so much fun, and it's so fucking frustrating when you can't see. Anyway, okay, here's what we'll do. See, this is why I need a co-host sometimes, because I don't know what I'm doing. I just get going, and my brain is like, it's like I'm running down the hill, and my body's going faster than my feet, but I haven't quite fallen yet. Like, my mouth is just going and going, and my brain can't keep up. I do owe a sponsor a chance to peddle their wares here. That's how I keep my bills on. So I'm going to play you a retro gaming ad. Then I'm going to let a sponsor in here. They're going to do their thing. This ad that's coming up right now, I highly recommend going to look it up on YouTube. I don't think the audio is going to do it justice. It's like a black and white security cam footage from, I think it's like a pawn shop or something, and it's this like big mean biker talking to this little old man, and it's fucking hilarious. So I'm gonna play that retro game. It's for Road Rash, so I'll play that commercial. We'll let a sponsor to do their thing. When we get back, I'll keep rambling about Road Rash. Remember, the game will return after these messages.
Motorcycle combat. Have you heard of it?
Nope.
You're driving real fast, one hand, you can pull it out, knock a guy right into a wall.
Hey, what do you have to knock the guy for? You know what I think?
What?
I think you're crazy.
You think I'm crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're crazy.
No, I think you're crazy. I'll kick you out from here. Kick your butt.
Road Rash 3D, soundtrack on Atlantic Records.
Hey hot dogs, Alienware's back to school event is the perfect time to score top gaming gear with incredible features and Intel Core processors to go beyond performance. You can save big right now on gaming desktops, gaming laptops, and so much more. Start your Alienware journey with the Alienware 15 gaming laptop featuring Intel Core processors. Smoothly game, live stream, and multitask for hours and hours on end. Make every game you play through your own with customizable Alien FX lighting across your Alienware ecosystem, creating your very own gaming profile and more. And they've got everything you need to make your silky smooth gaming experience even better by adding immersive visuals and sound, because you're saving on sleek Alienware monitors, headsets, and so much more as well. This limited time sale awaits you now at alienware.com/deals. That's alienware.com/deals. I love that Road Rash commercial. You know what I think? I think you're crazy. I'll kick you out of here. I'll kick your butt. Fucking makes me laugh. So yeah, everywhere you go, like, and it's not just there's obstacles on the fucking road trying to stop you. And like, we haven't even talked about the fucking other racers, the cops. It's just everything is laying around to get you. And as you get going further into the 5 tracks, you get more and more of these really sharp turns, hills you're going down, hills you're going up. It's oh my God. And I have to give them credit too. Yeah, the frame rate is not particularly great. It's not a very sexy looking game. I don't care about that. It plays really well, and that's what matters to me. It fucking plays really, really well. And when you play it on stage 1, you're not getting that much air when you go off big hills and stuff. Like sometimes, but not that much. It's a really fun game. It's just a driving game. It's a racing game. You're beating on each other. It's a good time. By the time I got to stage 3, I'd upgraded my bike 2 or 3 times. I got to a pretty fast bike. I don't know the names of any bikes. I don't know. Bar, what's the name of the bike? I don't know the name of any bikes. But like I'd upgraded 2 or 3 times. I had the second or third most expensive nitro bike. Because there's like really light bikes. There's other bikes. I don't know what they are. And then there's these nitro bikes. And the nitro ones, not only do you hold B to go, but you get a limited number of nitro charges where if you double tap B, you'll get like a little turbo boost. And dude, some of those, you'll hit these fucking hills and you will fly. You will like E.T. on a mountain bike, fucking fly up in the air. And then you'll come back down. And that was when it really started to land with me, no pun intended, just how great the physics engine is in this game. Like you just turn left or right by pushing the D-pad left or right. And you don't really need to use your brakes in the early races. It doesn't really matter, which is the A button. But as you get into these higher races, you need your fucking brakes, man. Because like you'll be going so fast and then you'll come into like a hairpin turn and there's no maps. Is it called a hairpin turn? I don't know. Is a hairpin... I would assume a hairpin turn is like a U-turn because it's like a hairpin. So maybe that's not what it is. But you'll turn into like a really sharp, like 90-degree fucking turn. And there's no maps, which is one small criticism I have of the game. I wish that there was some kind of map. I understand when there's not. The HUD is actually really clean. 3/4 of the screen is just your racer with the camera behind you. And then on the bottom, you can see your speedometer. You can see your odometer. And that's the only way to know how close you are to finishing a race is like at the very beginning of the race, when you pick which of the 5 states you want to race in, it tells you how long the track is. So say it's like 7.8 miles. Then it's just on you to A, remember that it's 7.8 miles, and then B, keep an eye on your odometer on the bottom of the screen and see how close you are to the end. If you want to save like a nitro for the end or whatever, then you need to remember how close you are to the end. And that's fucking tough, man. Like I didn't like that. And then on either side of you, you got your rear view mirror so you can see who's coming up behind you. And then you've got your health bar, your bike's health bar, and then the health bar, whichever racer is nearest to you. And I'm not, I don't know. I'm torn. I would have liked a map. I think it would have made it easier to have some. I don't even need a map where it tells me where the other races are. Just a map telling me how far I am from the end and knowing which turns are coming. Because, dude, especially once you get up to stage 3 and you're going fast, the number of times you'll fucking come up a hill, and then as soon as you fucking come up that hill, it's got like a really sharp left-hand turn. That's when you need to start getting really good at using your brakes, because if you just try to turn to the left, you'll lay your bike down. So you need to start tapping your brakes and quickly your way around there. And then a lot of time, like, it'll be a hard turn to the left, then a hard turn back to the right, or it'll be like a V-shaped fucking turn. And the further you're leaning and I might be wrong on this. I'm just going by what I've experienced while I'm playing the game. The further you're leaning on your bike to try to take a turn, the easier it is for the other racers to hit you and knock you off your bike. And so, like, if you're not, like, I had one race I was playing. This is the crash I want to tell you guys about. There was one race I was playing on stream the other night where I don't know how it happened, but I got a mile ahead of the computer. Oh, yeah, because sometimes you'll run into, like, crossroads where a fucking car might be driving across the road right in front of you, and you need to find a way around it. And there was a car coming across, and I was like, me and two other racers, computer guys, were battling it out first, second, and third, and they both hit the car, and I got through. And I think I ended up going off of one of their bikes and over. I don't know how, because I think I hit the car, but the game shot me over the car and I kept going. And all of a sudden I'm in the clear and there's nobody around and I'm in first place. Only time that's ever happened to me where I had that big a lead and I'm in first place. And the game is actually running a little bit faster and smoother now because it's not loading up any other races or anything. And I'm taking a ton of really sharp turns and I'm freaking out because I'm like, fuck, if I crash once, I know those assholes are going to catch up to me. And I'm like, there's no need to crash, but I also can't take my foot off the gas. So I wasn't really braking around the corners as much as I do when I'm wrestling with 3 or 4 other bikers, and I wasn't laying my bike down. And that's why I'm assuming it has to be the sharper you are into a turn, the easier it is for another racer to knock you off your bike. I assume, because that's what always happened to me. But anyway, the crash. So I'm way ahead of everybody, and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm going to get a first place. I'm on the 3rd level. I haven't got a first place yet. This is going to be worth a fortune. Let's fucking go. And then right near the end, I come up this fucking hill into a left-hand turn, and what do you know? There's a fucking bear, because of course there is. I'm from Canada. I fucking know. Just standing there on the side of the road like an ass, and I slam into this fucking bear, and I was moving, buddy. I was fucking flying, and my biker just goes flying through the air, and I am on stream throwing a hissy fit as I've been known to do because I'm like, well, I just got fucked. I was so close to a first place finish, and I know all those assholes are going to run by me. I don't know if I've ever seen my biker like sail. This was like a fucking 60-yard field goal. Like, my guy is fucking just flying through the air. And I'm freaking out because it's going to take me so long to run back to my bike. And I know 3 racers are going to run by me and cost me my first place. But I actually flew across the finish line. And even in the chat, some of the people that played are like, I've never seen that before. And I sailed the finish, the guy's waving the fucking flag and it said finished, and I got first place by just flying through the sky without my bike. And I was, oh my God, it was so fucking, like, I love video games. Like, do you hear how excited? It was so much fun. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is such a basic, but such a stupid fucking video game. Oh my God, it was awesome. That was maybe like the greatest thing I've ever done on stream was this stupid, like, Lance Murdoch fucking crash fly across the finish line. It was so much fun. Also, when you do, the game's got a good sense of humor. When you finish a race, it brings up these like really basic looking, like, pixelated little cutscenes. Like, think like Police Quest or King's Quest. If any of you played like the old like King's Quests or like Police Quest or something, where like the characters are just made out of like blocks with like next to no faces on them and stuff. There's some really funny cutscenes that play at the end of these. Like, if you write your bike off, there'll be one where they'll show like people gathered around and you'll be crashed next to your bike and an ambulance will pull up, and then the medics will get out and they'll just pick up your bike and put your bike into the ambulance and leave you laid on the side of the road. I kept seeing this one where I would finish in 6th or 7th, where I would get across the finish line and then it would cut to the little cutscene of the winner, like, surrounded by people, like, celebrating. And my racer stops and I'm like waving at the people that are cheering and everything. And then I turn around and wave at people that are coming down the road. And then these like big bikers on like Harleys drive by and just steal my clothes on the way by, and then I'm just stuck standing there on the side of the road. Some of those little like, there's not a ton of them. There's probably only half a dozen, maybe. Like, the cutscenes aren't like, it's not worth playing just for because I remember on Panasonic 3DO, it had these like crazy FMV things where they'd show the cops like actually arresting you and stuff, which was really, really cool. But even these little basic like pixelated cutscenes were actually really, really funny. That would come up at the end. And oh man, that one where I flew across the finish line, oh my God, what a fucking sick win. You lose money if you write off your bike by running out of bike health, or if you get busted. And if you've got money, it doesn't really matter. I think you start the game with like $1,000 and the most basic bike. But I was on the file that I've been playing on, I upgraded to like the second or third nitro bike, and I think it doesn't matter, but I think it cost me like $14,000 or something. And that included like all the cash I had won from racing and the trade-in value of the bike that I was riding right now. And once I bought this bike, I only had $410 left. And then a few races later, I had a really rough race where I ran out of health and wrote my bike off. And then it was like, you can't afford the bike repairs, game over. Because I think the cheapest bike is $1,000. And that's and like, buddy, if you fucking went back, I know I'm saying buddy a lot today. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's the Canadian in me, buddy. If you went back to the original like OG $1,000 bike in the middle of stage 3, unless you're some kind of fucking Road Rash god, you're done. So I'm playing it with save states, and I'm not save stating during races because I don't even know if that would work. You got to be in the moment. But I'm playing it on my Genesis Mini, and every time I survive a race, doesn't even matter if I get top 3 or not. If you survive, you might win $100, but if you just make it to the finish line, even if you finish last, the like little cutscene will come up and they'll chirp you a little bit and say you suck, but you'll get at least $100, and that can go into the pot toward a nicer bike. I think the other way you could save, I know it's got a password system. I don't quite know how big they are because I got save states. Come on, it's 2026 here. But at least you have a way to save. And if you ever decide you want to play this game, and I hope that I've convinced at least a couple of you to give it a shot, because it is a fucking blast once you get good at it. Make sure you're either using your passwords or using your save states. Because I'll tell you, boy, if I had gotten to the middle of stage 3 with this bike that I had fucking worked my tits off to upgrade, and then find out that I just was game over because I didn't have enough money to buy a new bike, I never would have turned this game on again as a child. Never would have fucking turned this on again as a child. I would have lost my fucking mind. So that's one way you can game over is if you don't have enough money to fix your bike. Or the other way I think you can game over is if you get busted by the cops and you don't have enough money to pay your fines. I don't remember getting busted on stage 3 anywhere. When I get busted on stage 2, it's about $400. So pain in the ass, especially when you're finishing like 12th and 13th and only getting $100 a race. Then I lose $400 if the cops catch me. And yeah, and how the cops will bust you is as you're racing through the race. Sometimes in addition to like the 14 or 15 other motorcyclists you're racing against, you'll see like a cop on a motorcycle. And I love that they'll do the same thing you do. They've got their batons. It's called the club, son. Or no, it's called the baton. What's it for? We club people with it. I know, second time I dropped that. It's one of my favorite Simpsons lines. But they'll try to hit you and knock you off, but you can do the same to them. You can steal their fucking club if they try to hit you with it. You can steal weapons from the opponents. We haven't really talked about the combat yet, so I'll talk about the cops and I'll talk about the combat. If you lay down your bike or you get knocked off your bike and crash near a cop, usually it'll say busted, and that's when you have to watch the little cutscene of the cop arresting you, and then you gotta fucking go and pay your $400 fine, and it's a pain in the fucking ass. Such a it's a frustrating way to lose, but I presume it's a lot cheaper than losing by writing off your bike. Because the only time I ever wrote my bike off was that time I couldn't afford to fix it. So I don't know how much it costs, but I assume it's more than a ticket. But it's rad to see like a cop car or a police motorcycle come up and know that you can like kick and punch them, steal their weapon, and take them out as well. So how the combat works is I'm playing it on my Sega Genesis, right? So I got my 3 buttons. And I've said it countless times. I don't like the Genesis controller for really precise gaming. Like I find Mega Man, the Wily Wars, the Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 port over to Genesis. I find that very hard to play because I find the D-pad very loose, that like circular D-pad on the Genesis. But when I'm playing something a little bit more loosey-goosey, as the kids say, like a Road Rash 2, I think that fucking works phenomenally. I love the Genesis controller for this game. So the B button is your acceleration. And then if you double tap it, if you've got a nitro bike and a nitro left, you'll use your nitro. The A button is your brake. Pretty self-explanatory. And then the C button is your attack. And the attacks are so basic. All you do is hit C, and you'll reach out and punch left or right. You don't have to push which direction you want to punch. Whichever side the nearest racer is to you, you'll punch. And then whenever you hit somebody, you can see their health bar at the bottom. And if you can drain their health or knock them off their bike, It's so satisfying when you knock another racer off of his bike, and sometimes you'll see his bike you'll see them go flying in front of you, or you see their bike laid out in front of you, and then you just you can watch them in the rear view mirror running, and oh my God, the computer will knock each other off the bikes too. And if you come across a racer running back to their bike, you can fucking run them over and excuse me, a hiccup, and trip them up, and it'll take them longer. It's very, very funny. But that's your punching. And then if you hold up, I think, and hit C, then you'll take your hand and hold it across your body, and then when you let go, you let a vicious backhand go. And I very rarely landed it on opponents because you're especially in the higher difficulties, you're so dialed in on trying to steer your bike that you don't really have time to hold up and watch the guy get close just to slap him in the face. But the backhanded slap is really funny. Or else if you hold down and hit C, then you'll do a kick on either side, whichever side the racer's closer to you. And the kick seems to send them further. If you and another racer are both in the left-hand lane coming up behind a car in the right-hand lane, if you do that kick at the right time, you'll kick them right into the back of that car. You'll send the bike over further. But I found it much harder to land. But landing it was really good. And then you can get two weapons. You can get the club, or you can get the chain. And you don't start with them ever, but you can steal them from either a cop or another racer. If they've got one and you're punching at them and they're trying to hit you with their weapon, if you do it at the same time, you'll steal their weapon. And obviously, they obviously do more damage, right? The club does a ton of fucking damage. And then the chain, I prefer the chain because not only does it do a lot more damage, but if you hold up and hit C, then you won't swing your chain at an opponent. You'll hold it over your head and just spin it. And it's so badass when you knock somebody down with your chain and then you're on a straightaway for a couple of seconds. So you're holding B, but then you also hold up and reach over and hit C, and you'll start whipping your chain around your head as you're fucking driving. Oh man. The chain is the fucking tits. The chain is the best weapon in the game. And that's really how the combat system works. It's if you run out of health, you're fucked. If they run out of health, they're fucked. You're kicking them and you're knocking them off and hitting them with weapons. No taser in this one, which is a little bit disappointing because the taser is fucking really cool. Really fun game. I'm looking at my notes right now. It does have a 2-player mode, which I think would have been a fucking really good time. I didn't do 2-player, because I have no friends. But I will say, if my brother and I had played this as kids, I think if you play a 2-player, you can either take turns, or you can go split screen and both be in races at the same time. That would get fucking ugly. I think you can race 1-on-1 against each other too. But if Josh and I had fucking had this as kids, we would have come to blows. Sometimes over the fucking the shit show that is this game, beating the shit out of each other. So I wish I could speak more to the multiplayer, but I can't. My only real criticisms, I don't mind that it's so tough, because if this game wasn't that tough, you'd beat it so fast it doesn't matter. So really not that upset by how difficult it is, because it does feel cheap at times. I had many occasions playing this where I'd rage like a motherfucker, but it's so simple and the races are so short that it kept me coming back for one more. Kept me coming back for a lot of swearing while I loaded my save because I had crashed too many times, and then you went in and tried the race again. But I was like, one more race, fucking one more race. It's so easy to learn. It's almost impossible to fucking master. So I'm not going to chalk the difficulty up to necessarily a complaint. I do think it's bullshit at times, but that's a product of 80s and 90s gaming, right? Fucking so many of the games from that era were bullshit at various times. So that's not a huge deal to me. 2 complaints I did have though are, I wish, like I said, some kind of map just to give me a loose idea of where turns are coming, and because sometimes I feel like you don't even have time to react when they sneak up on you, and more importantly, let me know how close I am to the finish line. I get that it's on me to know, and I'll hear an argument that that's realistic. If I sign up for a 10-mile race, it's on me to know when I'm at 8 miles. Fair enough, but it's a video game. It's not realistic. Help me out a little. If this game was realistic, every single racer in this game would be dead 300 times over. So I wish you would let me know about that. And the camera, most of the time, I found was good. But once in a while, when you're coming up a hill specifically, your sprite, your racer's sprite, is pretty big on his bike. And if you're coming up a hill, sometimes you can't see a fucking thing. Like, because the cars start out as so, like, the obstacles in the distance, the cars, the animals in the road, the signs, they start out so small, and then they get big so quickly as you come up on them. And sometimes when you're coming up a hill, the camera will get behind your racer, and you almost, like, it's fucking cheap, because you can't see what is coming. So you can only just get, and, like, if you can't see what's coming, then the safe play is to get into the right side, the right-hand lane. But you'll do that, and then there'll happen to be a fucking car in that lane, or there'll be a fucking animal sleeping on the side of the road in that lane. And that, I lost a couple of races to bullshit like that where I was like, I almost couldn't see because the fucking camera was in my way. I was a little bit pissed off by that. A little bit. That's a criticism. That's probably my biggest criticism. The difficulty is what it is. The map, I don't know if I agree with it, but I understand it. It's not the end of the world. The camera system can be fucking annoying, but fortunately it doesn't happen too often. So it's not game breaking. It doesn't happen too often. The music is not it's you know, if I could be honest, I think the Sega Genesis has pretty good fucking music, and by Genesis standards, I think this music's a little weak. I'd give the music like a 6 out of 10. Like, it's not, especially because it's like the same 5 tracks over and over and over again. Not race tracks, but music tracks. Not horrible, but like it got to the point where if I wasn't streaming it, a lot of the time I was playing it while I had like YouTube on in the background or what have you. So, but if that's your biggest complaints about the game, or once in a while the camera gets a little fucky, it's hard, and the music's not great, then it's a pretty good fucking game, dude. I love this game. Love the top 10 Genesis game for me for sure. I had a blast with it. I haven't played, I believe there's 3 Road Rashes on the Genesis. I haven't played 1 or 3. I think I recorded the intro yesterday, so I'm trying to remember what it said in the intro. I believe someone wrote in and said it's better than 1. Or no, it improved on 1, and 3 was a little bit of a step back. I believe that's what somebody said. I would like to try out at least Road Rash 3 at some point to see, but I don't need to play Road Rash 1 or 3. Like, I'm happy with Road Rash 2. Like, it was such a fun fucking game, man. And it just took me, I haven't played a Road Rash since the 64 in like the year 2000. Like, this just took me back. And then it took me back to the Panasonic 3DO and playing Road Rash at my friend Chris's house. And it was just so much fucking fun, man. I adore this game. I adore this franchise. I know there's like some spin-off games of Road Rash, some Road Rash. They got some Road Rash stank on them, but they're not actually Road Rash. I'm just looking now. When was the last Road Rash video game? Road Rash is a painful skin abrasion caused by friction when your skin rubs against a hard surface. I fucking know that. Stupid AI. The last Road Rash game was actual game was 2009. And that was only on EA Mobile. So the last actual game was Road Rash Jailbreak in the year 2000 for the PS1. And then it ported to 2003 GBA. So we need this franchise back. This took me back, man. I had so much fucking fun playing this game. Oh my God. I love it. I'm done rambling. I know I'm just going around in circles. This is what happens when I do these episodes by myself. But this was a game I had so much fun with that I was like, I don't care that I can't find a guest. Road Rash is the tits. It's getting some love on the show. I'll rank it out of 400 because I remember that being like a pretty common fine I would pay when I got busted. I'm going high. I'm going 3. You know, I'm going to go 350. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. I'll give it 350 out of 400. I had a fucking blast. The only things I'll say, other than the minor complaints I had, are I'm a little bit concerned that if I was to play Road Rash 64 or the PS1 Road Rash, I don't know, but I worry that maybe they would render this one a little bit too slow and clunky, because it is a little bit slow and clunky, but I'm a sucker for slow, and I am clunky. I am slow and I am clunky. So it didn't bother me. I just wonder if once I play a more modern one, if maybe this one will be harder to go back to. I had a fucking blast. If you have a Sega Genesis Mini, it was one of the games that was included on it. I'm almost, you know what? I better look that up too. Just before I fucking talk out of my ass and have a bunch of people blow the dust off their fucking Sega Genesis Minis to find out it isn't Sega Genesis Mini games. Not the Mini 2. I never got a Mini 2, but the Mini 1. The Sega Genesis Mini came loaded with 42 classic games. Road Rash 2 is on there. It's worth it. Fire it up. You'll have a good fucking time. Expect a little bit of frustration while you get a feel for how it races, and know that the game is designed to beat you into submission. Beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. But once you get a feel for it, it's so addictive. Like, I want to keep playing it. I don't know how. Maybe on my Twitch streams, I've been working on Battletoads. Maybe I'll start sneaking in some Road Rash too, just to try to get to the end. It's a fucking blast. I love this game. We got to do another Road Rash episode at some point. But that'll do it for this one. I will queue up some more Road Rash music. And when it stops, I will record the Patreon shout-outs, the outro, thank everybody, and glue the rest of this together and upload it to the internet for people to listen to. Thanks for listening, everybody. Enjoy the outro or leave now, whatever you want to do. Cheers. All right, that'll do it for this week's episode, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I know the ones where I don't have a guest get a little bit more than the normal episodes, but I had a really fun time with this one. Road Rash 2 is fucking sick, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. As you can tell, our new release schedule is a little bit more all over the map. I'm just not going to rush them out anymore. When an episode's done, it's going to go live. Still hoping to get one up every week. Can't promise every Wednesday. Can't promise every week. But I'm going to try to get them out as often as I can. Next episode, the next 3 episodes will probably be some combination of Rock and Roll Racing, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and ActRaiser. I don't know which order those will go live in. Hoping to get Twilight Princess out next week, but that's a big if. I don't have a lot going on this weekend, so I'm basically just going to hunker down and waggle my fucking... Oh, I hate the fucking Wiimote. Waggle that Wiimote and try to finish Twilight Princess off. If not, we'll see how it goes, but that's what I'm shooting for the next 3 episodes. If you like the show, leave us a nice review. I'd really appreciate it. They cancel out the negative reviews. We have Patreon. You know that. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. Those episodes are not going all over the place. I need to focus on those. I need to start getting those out. And this is not me saying like, hey, if you like the show, you better sign up for Patreon because I'm for fuck you around now. Still trying to get a free episode every week, but I've been missing the mark on a lot of Patreon episodes lately, and those people are paying my bills, and I want to make sure they get their shows. Remember the Game is still here. I just don't have to rush games anymore. So nothing's changing, except maybe when Remember the Game is going live. Anyways, patreon.com/rememberthegame, $3 a month, tons of extra shows. I counted it up, and as of today, there is 1,300 and I think 89 podcasts on Patreon, including all the Remember the Games. There's a lot of episodes over there, so check them out, enjoy them, ad-free, Remember the Game, and all the other shows as well. I think that's it. That's good enough. Yeah. And then I'm on Twitch whenever I have time. Remember the Game on Twitch. Not remember the Game on Twitch. I'm going to thank some patrons and get out of here. Thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate it, and I will yell at you the next time I finish one of these with either Rock and Roll Racing or The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Take it easy, everybody. Cheers. So long. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I'm contractually obligated to say all their names as fast as I can. So a huge thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Slick Motherfucking Rick, Make Mellow Magic Money, Sharonic, J Nasty 15, Jork King Keegs, Dissect That Dan, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Eldest Millennial, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, JSK Fusick, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Wolfgang Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squint, Steen Dodian, Titan 420, Jeff Bergeron, Randy Barrage, Xbox, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Captain Black Silver, 333, Chucker 22, Elijah Burns, Discount Psyop, Madam Nutsitch, DBXJ, Steve Dalk, Standard or Bitch Ass. Steve Dalk, Bitch Ass Brian. That used to be Standard Ass Brian. Am I crazy? Am I so out of touch? I don't know what I'm doing. Shut up. Dude, Where's My Game? Miziru, Juris Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Northern, Jake Carter, Biddy, Growlywog, Dabs All Day, Beaver Boy, Thomas Smith, Leroy Westrich, Rush's Dog Walker, Matt Babineau, Gabe, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam Wine, the surgeon who isn't a surgeon row, Blame the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hegel Waffle, Jimothy, Orokusaki's Gardener, Coda Blaze is not a bot because he cannot count, General Fury, Armin Tamzarian's copy of Swank, Max Legroom, James R. Francesco, Drugs Venom, okay, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, the Fletchman, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Hits Meals, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Caveman Lance, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, Timothy Sabrinsky, My Left Nut, Beef Dingleberry, Quiet Place Queen, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Tadpole, Lugnut, T-Bear 87, Maverick, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Monster SD, Boner, AB Killin Works for Me, Hooli, Mild Oatmeal, Ryan Perry, Please Refrain from Tasting the Knob, Scotty J, Just Car Pranks, Zombie Exy, Bartman Forever, Darth Skywalter, Postman, Nick Creature, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Pee Wee Squitters, Nordak, Lord Palmerston, Beers of War, Because 19, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Longron Von Hugendon II, Roger Staubach's Pool Cleaner, Lucas Shaman, Frosty Bear, Sour Goat Face, Sated Sufferance, Chris Hillis is Scared, That Can Be Anyone's Ass, B Money, Penguin Milk, Fallen Snow, Kiku, The Supreme Chozorizo, You Son of a Bitch, Why? Tell Me Why, E-Man Trucker, Eddie D 19, Mark Sneed, Christopher Lee Williams, Agent Booty Pants, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jake Callahan, Robbie Air, Brian Richmond, The Ass Man Jerry, The Ass Man, Smith, Bula, Too Much Karma, Mopey 36, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, J.R. Bob Dobbs, Mr. Scorpion, Mr. Jabroni, Big Daddy Randall, Ida Yellow, Yes, 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 This Rocks, Flinny123, Lotus, A Fridge Too Far, Toby O.P., Scotty McGee, Alex McIntyre, Spider Cat, Muffin Man Jr., Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Crash Team Racing, Eric Hopewell, Darbles, Generic Name 238, Saxophone, David Schroeder, Muncal, Diablo Spartan, McCracken, Wilco, VOS Rager, Retro Salvage Games, Conebread, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Daniel Cook, You Heard About Pluto, Desiree, Savage Boosh, Hello Mr. Thompson, MacGyver 88, Travis Sanders, Lord Salazar, Flater Flav, Erotic Onion Ring, Captain Asbury Juice, Shut Up, Telfer Love, Thunder Leaps, Legendberry, Jinxie 425, Akiris Network, Horror Wars Podcast, Jeff Leopard, Rob Lindsay, Game Boy Gannon, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Chase, Mikey Hag, Devin Collins, Cannon Fodder Games, Just James, Spooky Dookie, Frank Preeves, The Okayest of Muffins, Landed Turquoise, Siegfried, Dildo on a Hookshot, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Catatonic Abyss, Dixon Miaz, Sailorman 82, Jonathan Breyer, George Swan, The $100 Kid Ted Michaels, Chris Nethercutt, Master Queef, Carl Not Garl, Amanda Hug and Kiss, Queer Al Yank Your Dick, Self High Five, Adam Is Not Patrick Waugh, Proud Slurm Addicts, Cody Donaldson, Better Mousetrap Guitars, AJL 2019 FTW, The Maritime Musician, Jason Hoysh, Michael Barjudina, I Am Mr. Carlos, Rusher 84, Will, and Daniel Montgomery. That's a pretty good fucking batch of shout-outs right there. I'll tell you what. Thanks for listening, everybody. And thank you for supporting the show, patrons. Take it easy. Bye.